Oh, yeah. I am awake and alive and alive.
I'm so great I gotta say it twice and cut it out once. My head's a syrup bottle that's getting tipped over every Wednesday. You're a storyteller in a storytelling podcast, and the only story you're telling now is a story about stories you don't want to tell! What the fuck? Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I don't even want to talk. I just want to play that. Folks, I made a discovery on YouTube. I went into a YouTube hole. I've been in a hole. I'm in a bad place, folks. I wind up, here's what I'm doing with my life. Let's share this as this is how I live my life these days. I sleep when it's convenient. I mean, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I stay up all night and then I stay up all day and then I go to sleep at like 2:30 in the afternoon and then I wake up at like 6:30 or 7 or 8 and then I wake up and then I fall asleep like 2 hours later in a chair. It's fucking ridiculous. It's like I should be on government assistance. I should just be like, you know who I am? Did you ever see The Wildlife? I'm Randy Quaid, the heroin-addicted veteran who keeps getting visited by fucking Ellen Mitchell Smith. Do you remember that? No? Anyone? Of course not. Why would you? That's a movie from 1982 that nobody saw, except for me, because it had Eddie Van Halen doing the score, and it's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant, folks. If you've never seen The Wildlife, you have to see it, because Chris Penn is in it, and he plays like a high school wrestler dude, and he hangs out with Angel Salazar, and Eric Stoltz is in it, and he winds up getting a condo, and he and Leah Thompson are there, and then there's a fucking cop who looks like Rick Rude, who actually thought was Rick Rude, but then it turns out that he was actually the guy from Die Hard who winds up getting shot, who he tries to convince Bruce Willis to come in. He tries to tell Alan Rickman that he knows Bruce Willis. What the fuck is his name? Because there's a God damn it, I'm mad. Now I got to think of this name. It's he goes, "Hey, Johnny boy." He's the guy who says, "Hey, Johnny boy." And then fucking... All right, he's a guy who's a prisoner in the Nakatomi building. He's a smarmy asshole who does coke, and he's a friend of Bonnie Bedelia's, and fucking McClane sniffs him out from the jump. And then when McClane is wreaking havoc in the building, this guy gets on the phone and he goes, "Hey, Johnny boy," or he's on the walkie-talkie. And then Rickman and Goodenough basically say, "Hey, look, if you don't come out, we're going to kill this guy." Well, the guy actually says, he goes, "Hey, they're going to kill me if you don't show up." And then he tells Rickman, he's like, "Hans, buddy, Booby." He calls him Hans, Booby, "I'm your white knight." I know the guy's fucking dialogue, but I can't remember his name because there's this one part. What's McClane call him? He calls him, you can't look it up?
I'm trying right now.
God damn it. You know what? It's funny. Are you on IMDb?
Yeah.
Lily's on IMDb right now. It's like if you could go to The Wildlife and cross-reference it somehow. But whatever. He turns out in Wildlife, he's a cop who looks like Rick Rude, to the point where I actually thought it was Rick Rude when I first saw the movie, even though I knew it wasn't the voice and he wasn't muscular enough to be Rick Rude, but he had the Rick Rude cop mustache. You looking? You're still trying to figure it out?
Yes,
All right, so in Die Hard, he goes in there and he's like, "Hey, Hans, Booby, I'm your white knight." And then he gets McClane on the fucking walkie-talkie, and he tells him, "Hey, they're going to kill me if you don't come out." And McClane gives him up, and fucking Rickman shoots him. And then Rickman goes, and it's one of the best lines in the movie, and he goes, "You know what? Eventually I will get to someone you do care about." And it's fucking genius because Die Hard is genius. And by the way, you're asking me, as I talk about Die Hard, you're thinking to yourself, has Mike seen It's a Good Day to Die Hard? I'm going to tell you that Mike has not seen that because Mike does not want to ruin Die Hard for himself. Because I have heard that Die Hard, It's a Good Day to Die Hard. All right, let's put it this way. I was going to see it with Pat, my friend Pat. He actually went, all right, actually, I was not going to see it with Pat because Pat was going to see it with his wife. And he actually went the day before to the marathon of, are you on IMDb?
Yes.
Are you on Die Hard?
Yes.
Just start reading characters' names.
Okay.
That's your job, apparently.
Mara McClane, Sergeant Al Powell, Deputy Dwayne T. Robinson.
Not cops,
Richard
just going to be a name.
Thornton, Harry Ellis, Joseph Yunhoff, Hans Hoover, Carl Franco, Argyle, Tony, Theo, Alexander, Marco. Hold on.
A lot of those dudes are terrorists.
Christoph, Eddie, Uli, Henrik, Fritz, James, Special Agent Big Johnson.
It might be him.
Agent Little Johnson.
Might be him.
Robert Davey. Let's see.
Robert Davi, no, he's got a horrible face and he's got crazy acne. No.
Bush is not a crossover either. That's what I was trying to do.
All right, well, no, it's okay. Well, you know what? There's a guy who plays a cop in Wildlife. Is there an officer or something? You'll be able to check it out. Folks, welcome to the podcast IMDb Talk. We are here searching actors from 80s films and trying to figure out the roles that they played because why the fuck?
And cop number
Read their names. What are the actors' names?
Ed Call, or no, I'm sorry, Danny Tucker and Cameron Crowe.
Well, I don't think Cameron Crowe is it because I would know who he is and what he looks like. So anyway, see the wildlife. Is I guess that was the bottom line of this whole thing, right?
No idea.
Whatever. I get because I fucking see McLean with the microphone and he's like, no, don't do this. Don't play with these people. They don't understand and they don't know that I don't really know you. Fuck. All right, whatever. Tony. Is it Tony?
There is a Tony.
Who plays him?
Andres Wadinsky?
No, that can't be him, right?
Wadinsky? No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I can
shit.
picture his face too.
Well, he has a full beard in Die Hard, but he only has the cop mustache in Wildlife.
Whatever their current photo is.
Yeah, now he's old. Now he's 1,000,000 years old. He's got gray hair and he looks terrible.
Let me see if that photo is one of the photos. Really? Am I doing this?
I can't believe you're doing it. I can't believe I'm waiting for you to do it. That's the worst part. You know what? I just want to get my phone and fucking look. Like, you know what, folks? I'm going to do that on the air right now while we're talking. I'm going to go ahead and look up IMDb because I'm an idiot. I am a fucking idiot. You don't care, right? Yeah, actually, you do care. Everybody cares. All right, so I now have my phone and we're looking. I'm actually racing Lily. I'm racing against time to try to find this on my IMDb because I have the IMDb app. By the way, speaking of apps, did anybody get the Tamago Egg app? All right, you have to get it. You know what it is? Here, I'll show it to you once I'm finished solving this mystery. Hold on, hold tight. I actually almost typed in.
Cross-reference actors by movies?
No, you can't. Someone needs to invent that. Hey, everybody out there, why don't you invent that and then give me credit? So I did not see Live a Good Free Data live hard. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is what happens when you're surfing like on your phone. All right, Paul Gleason, Hart Bachner. There we go. Ellis. Because he goes, Ellis, is that you? There you go. All right, so that's who it is. Hart Bachner. And he's in, find out who he plays in Wildlife.
Hart Bachner?
Yes. He's in Wildlife. He plays a cop. But maybe he's got a real name or something. Regardless, folks, see the Wildlife. How did I start out with this where I was talking about Wildlife?
No, because he's not showing up under the Wildlife.
I'm going to tell you something, folks. Right now, honestly, I apologize because I recognize how bad this was. I mean, it just spiraled in, but it was that point where I could have stopped down and just gone and looked for it, but it was like because I thought I would pull the name. That should explain to you. I could pull every other fucking name and every other piece of dialogue.
Okay, he played David Curtis in
Wildlife. Yeah, he's a cop because she calls him David. Yeah, okay. Have a maple bar, brother. They're fresh. That's also lines from Wildlife. Jesus, year 5. This is what it's come to, folks. We're just on fumes looking up actors for fuck's sake. You know what? Maybe I could get this put under movie podcast this week and move up the charts. Maybe that'll work out. Because all of my friends are doing that. Like, you know, fucking Gil Martin's show, which is not a comedy show, quite frankly. Again, he's toiling away in the sadness mines. I've mentioned that. But his podcast is a self-help podcast. It's like the #1 self-help podcast in the world, which is fucking awesome. And it will stay that way until Deepak Chopra learns how to use a computer. Because he's got name value. No offense to Paul Gilmartin. He's getting to the bottom of a lot of things and good for him. But once Deepak Chopra brings his fucking Hallmark card sensibility to the fucking podcasting world, Paul goes down to a brief #2. He's absolutely going to be an unnoticed #2 on the self-help podcast once Deepak shows up. And if the ghost of Leo Biscaglia could understand how to run Audacity, holy shit, everybody would be out of business. So... How 80s is this show? Deepak Chopra, Leo Biscaglia, Die Hard, and fucking Wildlife. The Wildlife is... Why did I get into the Wildlife? Why did I talk about it? I don't even remember. But who cares? But see it. It's fucking genius. You know what's funny? There's a song in that. Because the soundtrack... All right, let me put it this way. The Wildlife... If you have the Wildlife soundtrack, send it to me. I want it. I totally want it. I'll pay you for it. Because you can never find it. I only had it on cassette. And the reason I need to have it is because there's one Eddie Van Halen song. Okay? Eddie Van Halen did the score for the movie. Jenny Wright is in it too, by the way. I think she's naked in it.
Okay, Mr. Skin.
Nothing wrong with that. Come on, I know who's naked and who's not. But that works out perfectly. Because that's my first concern. All right, look. You know what? By the way, let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the Oscars for just 1 second. All right, the Oscars. I almost call them the Oscars, which Lily wanted them to be actually.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
So here's the thing about the Oscars that I think, and I've thought this all along, jokes are jokes. I don't see them as being against ladies, and I don't see them as being against Jews. They're just jokes, and if you don't like them, that's cool. That's the thing is if you don't like them, I totally understand that. But for you to shout him down, to shout down Seth MacFarlane and shout down the Academy and say shut the whole thing and misogynistic and it was terrible and he's a jerk and he's not. Dude, you knew what you were getting into. You hired the guy who created Family Guy. What did you think you were getting? I mean, granted, when you see him, he doesn't look like he's going to be, well, all right, let me take that back. When you see him, he does look like a douchebag. There's no doubt, because that's the affected air that comes with being a really good-looking billionaire. You know what I mean? Essentially, Seth MacFarlane is the best Bond villain who's ever not been in a movie, because he's like 30 years old and he's worth probably fucking, I would say $400 million just from merchandising and everything else. And he's incredibly talented, whether you think he is or he isn't, and whether you think he panders to a lowest common denominator or he doesn't, whatever. It doesn't matter. The guy right now has 3 shows on in prime time. And look, just because they're on doesn't mean they're good. And I recognize that, because I don't watch American Dad or Cleveland Show. I tried. I watched the Cleveland Show for like a year, the first season, and just went, I hate everything about this. The only thing I liked was Cleveland. Cleveland I liked because he was on Family Guy, but then everybody else, the whole new storylines and stuff was not. And again, that doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means it wasn't for me, because I'm an old man. So I was able to move on and concentrate all of my Seth MacFarlane love on Family Guy. I tried to watch American Dad. I don't understand it. It's not for me. It's not something I want to see. And it's funny because there are people who lump them all in together. Oh my God, Family Guy and American Dad and Cleveland Show, they're all exactly the same. They do the exact same jokes. Well, then there's something about the Griffin's house that makes them funnier, because I don't fucking understand why you would see those other shows and say they're as good or the same. Other than the fact that one guy is doing every voice in one of them, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Seth MacFarlane is just, think about that. That guy does like all the voices. And I will say this, at the fucking Oscars, whenever he's saying, he sounds like Brian, the dog from Family Guy, because that's who he is. That's the voice that he's using. But it always makes me laugh, because that's immediately where my head goes, is I think of Brian. And when I think of Brian the dog, I think of Lily's ex-husband, which is fucking ridiculous, but I just do. Whenever Karen and I watch Family Guy, Lily's David. It's like, or I'm sorry, Brian is David. Because he's just...
Because he was up for the fish in American Dad.
Was he really?
Yeah.
The German fish? Isn't the fish German?
The fish was supposed to be...
like a Brian?
It was supposed to be a German fish, and now it's like, it's not even German.
Really?
Or it was supposed to be Swedish, and now it's, I can't remember. He was up for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, whenever we see Brian or we hear him talk, because he...
That's a good comparison.
Well, there's sort of a physical resemblance, like in the drawing of him, because he's very rounded, and David is very round. David looks like he was built out of balloons. I mean, it's like... And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean that he has no hard edges to him whatsoever. He is just a... you know what, Brian? This is gonna, and again, I'm digging myself a fucking grave, and I don't mean it in a mean way. I love David, but David looks like a 5'9" marshmallow peep. I mean, it's like, that's just who he looks like. It's just, some people look like that. I tend to look, sometimes if I lose weight, I look mean, or if I get fatter, I look jovial. I don't fucking know, but David just has no round edges at all. He is not a coffee table. He is a beanbag chair. That's just who he is as a guy. And it doesn't reflect on him badly. It's just, that's what I saw, because again, I'm a child and I need to make everything associated with something else. I can't just say that's my buddy David. I have to go, no, there's David, and he looks like concentric circles. I mean, it's just stupid. You know why? Because I'm Donald Duck. That's who I am. You ever see that Donald Duck math movie? I think I talked about that on here before. Donald Duck will see things and everything, and then people turn into shapes. And it's like, oh, Donald, how fucking high are you at this point? But I do that all the time. I'll see people and they become shapes. When I'm talking to you, please know that I'm deciding whether you look more like a shoebox or an envelope. I'm a terrible person. All right, so the Oscars, I don't, and again, maybe it's because I'm 45 and I have no fucks left to give about anything in the world, but I just don't care, and I can't get worked up about it. I don't, I feel, Lily and I were talking about this before I got on the air here, and she feels that the show was misogynistic, and
Now wait. I feel Seth MacFarlane is misogynistic.
Yes.
And I feel that the Academy Awards let him get away with being misogynistic with a wink and a nudge.
We talked about that, because I don't think they let him get away with anything. I think they knew exactly what they were getting.
And that's probably why.
And they were happy to do it. Yes.
It's like, oh, but it was all done in fun, which is the same way.
But jokes are jokes. How can you, let me ask you something. And again, I apologize. You don't have a microphone. Should we do a tandem mic thing? All right, let me ask you this. How can you, and this, all right, and I don't mean this to be self-indulgent, although it's going to come off as that. All right. How can you sit here with me every week and yet be judgmental about another guy's comedy. I mean, I'm a fucking idiot. I mean, I'm
not
a
judgmental about his comedy. I'm judgmental about the fact that they put him on the Academy Awards.
Oh, so you're saying it's okay to say terrible things in your kitchen, but to do it on a liver, a larger thing?
I'm saying that on Family Guy and American Dad and The Cleveland Show, which I watch all three of them, and I find most of it extremely funny because, like I said, they land blast everybody.
Yeah.
There's take no prisoners. That show specifically allowed him to just pick on women. And so it was a selective...
They were
and that's why it came
jokes.
across as misogynistic.
Just jokes.
But again, it's like the person who walks up to you and says, hey, I'm not racist, but here's this black joke. It's like, you can't wink and nudge and go, it's just between us, I don't really mean this, if you're not picking on everybody in the room.
I
then
guess.
You're just picking on...
I just think jokes is jokes. I don't...
Jokes are jokes too, but I do think that if you walk into a group of people with white privilege and you tell a joke that's about a colored person and you use those terms, they're going to be much more forgiving because they're kind of with you even though they're not racist. But you say that in front of a room where there's 3 colored people in the room, you've called them out.
What parties are you going to, by the way? I don't... First of all, I'm alarmed that you're breaking off in these discussion groups. Even more alarmed that you're allowing 3 colored people into your party. That seems...
It's the context of the audience that you're reaching. It's the context of... You're not going to
So,
drop
folks,
the F-bomb on television.
So this is a judgment of you out there. That's what Lily's saying right now. She's saying it depends on the audience.
You make fun of everyone on the show.
Yes.
Women
And who more than anyone?
Yeah.
Who's the number 1 target on the show?
Well, you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and so that's the thing. I can see that with Seth because Seth isn't doing a lot of inward, turning humor. I mean, he's kind of letting everybody have it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it, except for the fact I thought it was long. I thought
giggled at most.
Yeah, I thought the opening was a little long, but I don't. But again, here's the thing, and you and I talked about this too. Things have changed, man. Times have changed. When we were kids, when Lily and I were small, we used to be small, folks. When Lily and I were small, the Oscars were this amazing pageantry and this unbelievable sophistication and all these different things. And now, nobody cares, man. I mean, you know why? Because Seth MacFarlane hosts, and then that night you can write him on Twitter and tell him that he's a fucking idiot if you want. And that takes a lot of the sheen off of these events because in the old days, Johnny Carson would leave the Oscars and go home. There were no pictures of Johnny Carson doing things after the Oscars. That nobody gave a fuck about the parties and nobody cared about. Everybody looked at the dresses and here's what it was. Everybody looked at the dresses and went, "Oh my God, look at those glamorous dresses." They didn't hire a gargoyle with Joan Rivers' face to come on and go, "Oh my God, look at these stupid dresses." You know what I mean? In the old days, that would have been frowned upon. You would have been a fucking horrible person. But now things have changed. I'm 45 and anybody under 30 is like, why should I care about this again? I'm just going to make fun of it. And and believe me, that's all anybody does with anything anymore. That's it. Everybody makes fun of everything. And I shouldn't talk. Again, I live tweeted during the Oscars and I fucked around. Because that's what you do. And I like doing it. I like making fun of everything. But then there comes a time where you just want to take a breath and stop being a snarky fucking jagoff, right? Isn't there? But no, man, there are people out there that are just machines for it. There's a writer. I read this guy named Drew Magary. He writes for Deadspin. And I love reading a lot of his stuff. But then after a while, you got to take a lap because everything's terrible. It's just, but that's the function he serves. He writes the everything's terrible stuff where he just fucking bomb throws at everyone and makes fun of it. Does he write well? Absolutely. Does it make me laugh? Certainly. But it's the same thing with I read Kissing Susie Colbert, which is a football site, and they love football, but all of it, it's named after, there's a famous event where at Monday Night Football, Joe Namath was honored at a Jets game and was hammered drunk. Well, Susie Colbert was the sideline reporter, and she went up to Joe Namath, and she's like asking him normal questions, and he goes, "I want to kiss you," and she's like, "What?" And he goes to lean in, and she's like, "I want to kiss you on the mouth." He's fucking loaded, and so they named the football blog, Kissing Susie Colbert. Which, by the way, that happened again this weekend. Did you see anything from Daytona? Erin Andrews, it's actually, you should see the clip. Someone made a GIF out of it that I saw, a GIF, whatever. But Erin Andrews was like sideline reporting at the Daytona 500, and 50 Cent was there. I had to change it. I had to stop myself there. I almost said 50, and I stopped myself because we talked about this on the show before. I used to have a joke with his name in it, and I made sure I said 50 every night because I didn't want to be like uncool, even though I'm completely uncool for even bringing up his name. But yeah, 50 Cent was there, and she's talking to me, and she goes, "Oh, look, 50 Cent is here," and he approaches her, and she goes, "Hey, 50," and he goes to kiss her on the mouth. Like he leans in and she turns her face and then she turns it like another way and then another way and then he finally kisses her on the cheek. And it's the most uncomfortable 3 seconds you'll ever see. For her, I mean, probably for him as well because it turned out badly. But he went to kiss Aaron Andrews on the mouth. And I was in my head, I was like, is that what it means to be a celebrity? You can just kiss everybody on the mouth that you want to, which is great. Because again, remember my plan to be a celebrity? I was going to be rich and I was just going to eat people's food off their plates. But now if you can just kiss everybody on the mouth, that's even better. That's even better to be a celebrity. Except, let's put it this way. If you're a celebrity, you can kiss anybody you want at the mouth, except other celebrities. That was where 50 Cent went wrong. He was probably making out with everybody at fucking Daytona, and then he saw Aaron Andrews. He forgot all about the celebrity rule, and he went in for it. And denied. Here's a big white cheek for you, 50 Cent. You're making a face. Did you look it up?
I'm watching pictures of it. It's horrible.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. No more uncomfortable than being a black guy at the Daytona 500. I wouldn't imagine. I can't. It's like, how the fuck did he win it? What is that? Your party? Why is he there? All right. So I don't even know how this started. What the fuck are we talking about? I don't know.
You were on the site kissing and reading about
No. This started somewhere. This had a thing.
racism, sexism.
No. That all came out after. It started out. We were talking about Die Hard for some reason, and I got into wildlife and. Oh, you know why? Because I said I was Randy Quaid.
Oh yes.
Oh, because of my sleep schedule. Oh, Jesus Christ. Just, you know what, folks, just end it. Just bail. You can bail if you want on this one. Really? Holy shit. You can take off if you want. Literally just held up a pad of paper. She's like, you're at 20 minutes. And unfortunately, 18 of that is looking up old actors from the 80s. Jesus Christ. This is the Hart Bachner show. He's probably dead. Like, is he even alive? Don't look it up. The Hart Bachner show. Ellis, what are you doing? Oh, Booby. Hans, Booby, I'm your white knight. Hart Bachner. Yeah, let's get him on the show. Call him. Let's go. Let's try to find his number. This is a morning zoo. We'd have him on, for fuck's sake. You know what? I was talking about the soundtrack to The Wildlife. That's what I was talking about. If you have it, send it. Because Eddie Van Halen did the score for that movie. And so he's throughout. All right, well, I'll just tell you this. Last year, the Van Halen album, A Different Kind of Truth, came out. I think this week, a year ago. But I'm not sure. I'll have to look at my masturbation calendar and see when it spiked up. I have to go to my Google jerk-off analytics page and see the February spike in my jerk-off ratios. I'll have to go to my ruined sock pile for that month and see exactly where we were at. But Eddie, you know, he did the score for The Wildlife, and on the album A Different Kind of Truth, they reused a lot of old pieces of music, including a song called Donut City from the Wildlife soundtrack. Donut City became Blood and Fire on the Different Kind of Truth album. This is just a fact show, really?
I'm still laughing at the Google jerk-off analytical page.
Oh, it's look, that's what I have. I have a Google jerk-off analytics page.
I'm sorry. That exists.
Doesn't everybody have one?
It has to.
You can track everything. That's what the internet is all about.
Oh my Christ.
My electronic footprint involves my handprint, quite frankly. So they have the Van Halen song Donut City is on the Wildlife soundtrack, which is a fucking amazing song. But then also there's a great song that from a band, you ever have a soundtrack and you hear something and you go, I don't know who that is, but I love that song. There's a great song on the Wanted soundtrack, and this is a bad example because it's done by Danny Elfman. All right, so we all know who Danny Elfman is, but it was just completely out of the blue because Danny Elfman is doing movie scores, and then the movie Wanted comes out, and he does a rock song, and he does this fucking amazing song on there, and he doesn't sing. He has a different singer, but he did the music, but it's fucking genius. But again, it's one of those songs you'll never find anywhere except on a soundtrack. There was I hate that basically, is my point, when there's one-off songs that you can't find, because this song disappeared. All right, let's do that. Let's talk about songs that have disappeared. Let's do that, folks. God knows. Let's stop talking about actors that have disappeared and move on to songs that have disappeared. Let's just reminisce. I'm going to lay down and talk about all the things I used to like and see how you guys feel about that. How do you guys feel about this thing I used to like that you've never heard? Here's another thing that I used to like that I'm sure you've never heard in a million years. I'm furious. You know what? Because in the old days, you didn't have a computer in your hand that you could punch 4 buttons and find out what you were thinking of or what you were talking about. So there's a song. I heard a song, and I swear to God, I don't know who sings it. But it had this. It was like this chugga chugga fucking song. It was like a hard ass rock song, from the early 2000s, I think. And the chorus, like, I don't even know the name. Like, I can't even look it up. I've actually typed this into Google trying to find it, and it's imagine trying to find a song from this phrase. Baby, baby. Try to find a song from that. Google that term with quotation marks around it, with the little plus sign, and then the word song with quotation marks around it. Baby, baby. Good luck. I actually Googled that in 2009. Still looking. Still sorting through the results. I have that open in another window on my desktop and my laptop at all times. Whenever you wonder yourself, what's Mike doing? He's sorting through the baby song results to try to find this one fucking rock song that was awesome. Here's the only clue I have. I think it was by Static X. That's the only, because I'm pretty sure the song was by the band Static X, but I'm not going to listen to their whole catalog. That would just make sense. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I just pull up iTunes and listen to a snippet of all their fucking songs? Why not? But it's a song I don't know that I want to find. And because I heard it on the radio, but it was before the days when they put, now, because I have a car, that might as well just be a book, because I can read the songs. I have a car book. Yes, I do. It's a bookmobile. It's me and Roddy McDowell driving around fighting Batman. So on the screen, it'll tell you who's singing the song and what. And also, there's no Shazam. Like in the old days, there was no Shazam. Shazam now is amazing. The funniest thing is Shazam is great, but it's also fucking annoying, because I'll be watching TV and it's not really annoying, but Karen Shazams things from TV. She'll be like, hold on, and she'll hold the phone up to the TV screen, Shazamming it, and it works. It's great, but at the same time, I'm just like, we shouldn't be doing that. It's almost like cheating. Like, I mean, I felt bad enough when I would hear a song and I'd just grab a snippet of the lyrics and then Google those and then find the song that way, which we did when we were watching Justified the first season or the second season. And there was an amazing song on there by, who the fuck was it? God, Jesus Christ, you guys. My brain is not firing. Again, I'm not sleeping, folks. So as you know, I'm a heroin-addicted Vietnam vet like Randy Quaid in Wildlife. So he can't fucking just pull this stuff out of his ass right away, right? He has to do some thinking. He has to do some sounding out. There's actually a scene in the movie where for 20 minutes, Randy Quaid just sounds out who is the cast of Combat. He just does it right there. It's 20 minutes. So maybe this is my homage to him. That never happened. All right, so... Because now people aren't going to watch Wildlife because they're going to go 20 minutes of Randy Quaid talking about the cast from Combat? You know who could pull it off? Tarantino. Fucking Oscar Tarantino. Change his name. So awesome. So great. So happy. He and Christoph won. And also, I would tell you this. I was glad that they used the song. There's a song called Trinity. Because there's the Django Unchained song, which is the theme song, and it plays during the opening credits. But the song called Trinity plays during the final scene, which I won't spoil it for you, but it's such, I can't stop singing it around my house because it's got this smarmy, you know who should have sang it? Seth MacFarlane. Because it just sounds like this weird douchey fucking guy singing the lead vocal, because it's got the whistling, I can't whistle. And you go, who's the guy? Who's the talk of the town? It's fucking amazing. Such a great song. And then they used it for the Oscars. And now, when they won at the Oscars, I want to do Sprint. My buddy Russ McGarry wrote me, and he's like, fuck yes, like in just all caps on text. And I said, I'm not even kidding. I'm so happy. I want to run to the theater and watch the movie again right now. Like in a cartoon, I would have just run out of my house and sprinted to a theater and got there just in time to sit in my seat and eat popcorn and watch fucking 2.5 hours of genius. And yes, I know some of you didn't like it, and some of you hate it, and some of it thinks it's white privilege, and some of you think he's fetishizing this, and then, Jesus Christ, it's a movie. Jokes are jokes, and movies are movies. Right? Wrong. According to everybody else in the world. I don't know. I don't know what's going to offend me. Like I'm waiting for that day where the day where I actually start going, oh Jesus, that's awful. I can't why are you making a face?
I don't think it will ever come.
I don't know. I mean, it might. It might. I mean, because I told you, I've seen stuff and gone, ooh, you have to walk that one off. You know what I mean? Like there's some stuff that makes you go, wow. But I don't ever think that anybody wouldn't have the right to say that. Like even a Family Guy, I'll see stuff. They'll do jokes about fucking 9/11, and then I'll go, man, what if a guy from 9/11 is watching this? By the way, I don't even know what that means. Like that could be anybody. It could be Muhammad Atta's brother. Yeah, or it could be a fireman. I don't know, but it's just But come on, you say all of us, but it has to hit 3,192 people's families a lot harder than that, right? Don't you think? And they sit down and just watch some jokes, and there's a cartoon dog making fun of their dead husband. Holy shit! That's got to be awful. That fucking, hey, oh my God, this smart baby just made fun of my aunt. Click. That's rough, man. That's rough. But what do I know? I did a whole show once where I pretended to not know what 9/11 meant. Remember that? I remember that. In the old days. By year two. Something happened today. I can't remember what it was. I kept saying that the whole show. Made myself laugh. Made myself and nobody else. I think Lily may have left just because it's her job. But everybody else is like, but let's talk about 9/11, folks, while we're at it. No. What if I did that? What if one day I just did a whole somber show about 9/11? What if I did, like, the halftime of the Super Bowl, I just read the names? How fucking great would that be? 3,192 names. And I had a somber, like, the fucking national anthem behind me, and I just read the names. And that was it.
I'm impressed you know that it's 3,000.
It might not be. It might not be. That's just the number that's stuck in my brain. Oh, Google that now. Let's hook it up, folks. You know why? Because I part of me has 1492 from Columbus in my brain. So maybe the 92 is just prevalent. And also, wasn't that Reggie White's number? I think it was. Didn't Reggie White die in 9/11? I think he did. It was terrible. He was in a full Packers uniform on the roof, and he tried to tackle the plane. Saved lives, but unfortunately he perished in the blast. Is it 3192?
I can't seem to find it.
Might be 3164.
New
But
deaths have been added. According to Wiki, right now it's 2606.
2,606?
Yeah, but that can't be right.
No, that's not right at all.
Okay. New York reduced the death toll by 40 on October 29th of 2003
What's wrong with these people?
from 2792 to...
For our purposes, 3,192 people died. Because I'm counting all the people also who died of bone lung after the fact.
Then it's probably higher.
All right, there you go. Yeah, it was those people. I think I just invented that term. Maybe. Is it really? You know what's funny? You're going to jail because they're going to find your wiki fucking what you've Googled today. And you've Googled a terrorist attack on a fucking skyscraper in Los Angeles. And now you're looking for how many people died in fucking New York in 9/11. Oh, Jesus. I apologize, Lily. You're getting carted off to jail.
Okay.
And if you thought Seth MacFarlane was misogynistic on the outside, way to get in there. I watched Kojak last night, and he was, of course I did. It was the first hour of a two-parter, but you don't know that. We don't find that out until later, obviously. They don't say, I hated it last night, because you know what, I'm traveling this week, and I'm like, what if this is a three-parter, and then I can't see Thursdays before I go out of town? It's going to suck. I might have to cancel the San Antonio trip. No, come on. No, that's an unemployed guy problem who's up at fucking 2 a.m. watching Kojak. But Kojak is he's fighting against this rich woman who's controlling the city council and has a puppet DA, and he's got some woman in a jail, and he's trying to get her out because I guarantee, look, I already know the plot, and I knew it in 10 minutes. She was raped by the son of a rich woman, and then they covered it up, and so she killed her mom and whatever the fuck. But last night, where was I going with this?
No clue.
Well, there was something to talk about.
I watched Kojak, and it was a two-parter show, and it's an unemployed guy.
Yeah, but it was all I was talking about your Googling at first.
I'm going to jail. It's different on the inside.
Yeah, I said, it's different on the inside. That's what it is. Because in this show, Kojak got a female prisoner transferred from this jail to the city, to Rikers Island. So he had to go pick her up. Well, this prisoner is like sitting there on a bench and she's all sullen, and a prison guard, a woman, and standard casting prison guard, fat woman, and she comes walking in and she goes, "You're not ready." And she tells the girl, "Okay, here, get up." And the girl stands up and she goes, "Put on your sweater." And she puts on a hoodie and she zips it up. She goes, "Now, there you go. It's not polite to leave people waiting when they're waiting for you." And she walks the girl outside. And I watched it and I thought, is this the only instance of fat, evil prison guard woman being nice to someone in the history of casting movies and television? Because every time you see it, it's always some really fucking aggressive, mean, half a lesbian, Dr. Detroit fucking mom looking woman who's just ruining everybody in the prison. But in this one, she was being nice to the mental patient chick. But then it turned out she made a phone call to a cop and she's like, haha, Kojak just took the girl, and it turned out they're setting Kojak up to get murdered. That was the end of the fucking part one. This guy hired two dudes and here was the best part is Kojak calls the dude or the guy calls Kojak and says, "Hey, I got some information for you. Meet me at the old cement factory under the Brooklyn Bridge with no people with you. Come alone and make sure you come out of the car and walk over here." And I mean, you're dealing with Kojak here. He's not going to fucking just swallow that story. He knows something's up. He's going to bring Stavros and have him on a rooftop with a fucking high-powered rifle, right? That's what Kojak does. All right. So, my show should be sponsored by IMDb, honestly, because all I do is talk about these old shows that people then run and look up. Oh, fuck, the Tamago Egg app. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Dude, I read about it, and I'm like, this is hilarious. I was so excited. Hold tight. Hold on. I'm going to get up my phone. I'm going to make you do it.
No.
Yes.
I refuse.
No, here. Hit the Tamago Egg app there at the top and just see what happens. Tell me what happens. See it up there? Tell me what you see.
There's an egg with a crack.
And what's the number?
999000.
999,000, right?
Yes.
Hit the egg. Hit it again. Hit it again. When you download this app, the Tamago app, it's just a picture of an egg with the number 1 million. And it doesn't even tell you what it's going to do. But every time you hit the egg, it takes one out of the million. So I got it, and it was 1 million, and then you go 999,999, 998, 997. Every time you hit it, it just takes the thing down. And when you're done, something happens. You know what I hope? I hope it ruins my phone. Seriously, because remember I loved Guess What?
There. I'm just going to do this through the whole
You
show.
are not. You're going to ruin my Tamago app? It took me 10 minutes to get down to 900 to do 1,000. So I don't think you'll get through it by the end of the show.
Well, we'll find out.
All right. There's so this Tamago app, it's just a picture of an, oh, you're not? You're done? You quit already? So you got us to 998,866. I've been challenged by somebody? That's weird. All right.
I have no idea what it is.
I don't know what that is either. But it is an app.
Free?
Yes. It's a free app. And all you do is you open it up and there's a picture of an egg with the number 1 million.
I'm going to say someone who doesn't want us to pay attention to the news developed that.
Okay, you could say that about every app in the fucking world. It's ridiculous.
That's the pet rock of the phone.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a genius idea. Like I said, and it's even more genius if at the end, it ruins your phone. It erases all your data. I think that would be the greatest thing ever invented. Because again, like I said, I liked Guess What. That machine was just said, guess what? You put a quarter in, and I hoped they were empty bubbles of air. Like, just you open it up, just nothing. You got nothing for your fucking quarter. That'd be hysterical. Guess what? You got fucked. Well, that's why I love the idea of this fucking, if the fucking egg opens and it just erases all the data on your phone. Or even better, what if it's like a launch code from, it's Iran. What if it's an app from Iran? And the second you get down to fucking zeros, you launch a missile and you blow up Providence, Rhode Island. Take that, Providence, Rhode Island. I had to hit an egg 1 million times. Whoa, hey, take that shirt off. What were you doing? All right, well, go ahead and scratch it. Who's that guy? I like that guy.
He's creepy.
No, I enjoy him. He should be here every week. All right.
Oh my god.
Hey, take it off. Yeah, it's all right. That's misogynistic. I should stop that. So, this song on the Wildlife soundtrack, did I even say what it was yet? No, because I got into Static X.
Yes.
On the Wildlife soundtrack, there was a song called In the Metal of the Night. METAL. And it was by a band called Hanover Fist. HANOVER was their first name, and then Fist was their last name. By the way, bands don't have a first and last name. All right, I understand that. Unless the guy was named Hanover Fist. But it was this fucking awesome rock song, and it's in the movie. It's a great scene because Ilan Mitchell Smith is doing nunchucks to it. Like he's in his room and he's doing fucking nunchucks, and you're just like, oh my god, I want to be that kid and do nunchucks and listen to fucking In the Middle of the Night. And then it was on my cassette tape, which then wound up getting lost, unfortunately. But so I guess my bottom line is send it to me if you guys have the Wildlife soundtrack. I don't know why I'm bringing it up because there's songs. You know why? There was another.
Want that one song?
In the Middle of the Night by Hanover Fist? Well, yeah.
It's on YouTube. You can get it.
Well, you can't get it on YouTube. I mean, yeah, there's a video.
You don't know how to download an MP3 from YouTube
Nope.
legally?
No, I don't do that. I'm 45 years old. I'm a grown man. You kids today and your fucking downloads. Well, you do it then. Do it to me and send it to me.
No, I'm not stealing for you. I just figured you know how to do that.
What? You are a terrible person.
I'm a terrible person.
Yes. Because you mock me. Because A, you're making fun of me for not being able to steal. It's terrible.
I just assumed you knew how.
No, I don't know how to do anything. I barely know how to do this. As this week clearly proves, I barely know how to put a cogent thought out of my mouth.
Oh my god.
What other song? Oh, dude, there's another song. And it's a song. I have this cassette tape. I actually found it because I held onto it for fucking 20 years. It was a song called Come Along by Salty Dog. And it's just this song that it's like a sinister opening song. It's two different songs in one. It's like the certs of songs. It's fucking brilliant. Because it starts out and it's like, you know, and you know, come along. I won't do the lyrics for you, but then it keeps getting faster and faster, and then and it goes fast, and it finally ends with him just screaming, and the guy is yelling, and it's like Train Kept a Rollin' by Aerosmith, where it's like bounce, down, 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 and then all of a sudden there's the fucking train whistle, and then what am I doing? This song is all about these old actors, and then I'm Michael Winslow for the past fucking minute and a half. Oh, and better yet, Michael Winslow of songs nobody's ever heard. They don't know those songs. They couldn't even know if I was right or wrong. They just know I'm making a lot of fucking noises in the microphone. Jesus Christ, stop. But you do that. There are songs that you love, and there was this band out of Chicago called Holland. They had one album. I've talked about them on here, I think. One album they had. I had the cassette tape, and I had like 4 generations of that cassette tape. Like when it would wear out, I would put it on another tape because I did not want to lose it. I loved the album so much, and they disappeared. And then 3 years ago, they put it out on CD. Like some ridiculous small company said, oh yeah, we've got a band named Holland that we're releasing their, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I bought it immediately. It's fucking amazing. And now it's in every mix that I've listened to on the planes. So whenever I'm on the plane, it's in the mix. I'm trying to talk to you guys, and Lily has a bad back, all right? So she stood up, and she's doing imaginary hula hoop. Like, she doesn't have a hula hoop, but she's just rotating her hips and standing with, she's got her hands behind her, like on her ass, and she's rotating her hips. And I'm trying to talk to you and concentrate, and it's hard. I won't lie. It's hard. She's a tank top and jeans. Let's do this. Because the whole show has just been me.
Let me take my glasses off, and then it won't be as interesting.
I'm a fan of glasses.
I know.
I like them. And I love the fact that you think that taking things off is somehow going to make this less interesting for me. Yeah, I think so. You know what? You're right. Take the glasses off. I'll lose interest. I take the shirt off too. Why? Just to be safe. Just to be safe, and to where I'm not noticing this at all.
Oh my god, that's...
Yeah, just take that tank top off. And you know what? And we'll just play the Holland album. Let's just do that. Let's just play the Holland CD for the rest of the podcast, and you can just take your clothes off. I'm excited about this plan. You guys probably won't like it as much as I do, but I still think it's a solid move to a... No? All right. I talked about Holland on here before. Holland was in a band. They were a band the lead singer was named Tommy Holland, which is a fucking great name. And they had a guitar player named Mike Badio. I've talked about this on here a million times. Folks, I have nothing left. All I keep doing is bringing you the same stuff. I talked about Mike Badio because Mike Badio was in the band, and he was such a great guitarist, because that's why my friend Brian and I, this is when we worked at the record store, disc jockey, and we would play the Holland album over and over, and we just listened to fucking Mike Badio shred on guitar. And then they were going to tour, and Mike Badio quit the band and went solo. Like the most amazing, because he was such a good guitar player. He was like, yeah, fuck these guys. And then he changed his name to Michelangelo and became a guitar player who then joined a band called Nitro. God damn it. Again, why am I doing this? They had a song called Freight Train. You know what? Yeah, go look up Freight Train by Nitro and listen to the fucking guitar work in that. Jesus Christ. Remember when Vinnie Vincent made the Vinnie Vincent Invasion? Of course you do. Everybody does. I love that it's shorthand for me. You remember the Vinnie Vincent Invasion, don't you? No, nobody does. They hate them. I don't know Vinny's. I don't know Vincent. I don't know about an invasion. I quite frankly, I doubt that. I don't know the meaning of the word. I love the name of that band just because the arrogance of it. Just as if like your ears were sovereign ground and they're about to be invaded by Vinnie Vincent. Awful. And then he played solos, and I had the album. And by the way, the album shredded. It was fucking great. But then you find out later, everybody said that he sped his solos up. Like he played regular solos and then sped them up with a whatever equipment they used in the 80s. I don't know, a fast button. I don't know what they had. Again, it was primitive times, folks. So Vinnie Vincent, somehow they said he sped up his solos on his album. Well, Mike Badio sounded like Vinnie Vincent was all sped up, but Mike Badio was playing it for real. And then he became like I said, he became Michelangelo, and he joined Nitro, and that album is retarded for guitar. I mean, he's just all over the place, fucking fast. You actually, when you listen to that album, smoke will come out of your speakers because of Mike Badio's guitar playing. Or, I'm sorry, Michelangelo's guitar playing. I have to call him by his pretentious new name. And then I was wondering where Michelangelo disappeared to. It was one of those things, because then he went solo, like Steve Vai and like Alan Holdsworth and those dudes, and Gary Hoey, whatever, all these guitar players. These dudes were solo, and they just played, like, they went at Satriani. Don't make faces. These are real people.
Sure they are.
You know, I feel like Donald Sutherland in Animal House. I'm not joking. This is my job. It's my job to know all these fucking ridiculous metal guitarists and regular guitarists. Because I don't want to lump Gary Hoey into the metal genre. He doesn't do any of his business in the metal of the night with Hand Over Fist. It was 3 a.m. We were listening to the radio, folks, with two-fisted sounds coming out like a cannonball. God damn it. Hand Over Fist. Look it up. And apparently steal it, because Lily says you can do that sort of thing. So I'm in a fucking pile of guitarists. Where am I now? I gotta claw my way out. I gotta grab a fretboard and climb my way out of this motherfucker. I need to get a flying V and dig my way out of this pile. Badio, Tremolo, Disco, Danny Terrio, Lil, and he fucked up and someone punched him in his lips. And Danny Terrio punched him in the lips. All right, so.
My God, what is wrong?
I don't know. My brain is fried. It's like it keeps skipping. This week my brain keeps skipping. Like if you ever, when you had record players, you bumped them and went, and that's what my head feels like for some reason. Half my bees are dead. The other half are trying to revive them. I can't concentrate. I got nothing I can do. We're trying to save the bees in my head. Folks, send money. Save the bees in my head. Some generous listeners offered to buy me a bed last week.
Aww.
Yeah, that was very nice. Our friend Liana wrote me and some other people, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just a fucking hobo at this point. I am a charity case. Yes, I am. It's terrible. It was nice of them. It was very nice. I haven't written them back yet, so they'll hear this and go, oh, at least he got our emails.
You know, in the old days, artists used to have patrons that would pay for all of their stuff. They would have someone that would come in and pay their rent so they could go do their art.
Yes, and they have rent parties in New York and all that kind of stuff.
No,
And
I mean, like way back when in the Renaissance, it would be like, I will pay all of your bills so you can go do your arts.
if only I were alive during the Renaissance.
I think you're creating a renaissance, and people are going to start paying your rent and buying you beds, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Oh, none of that is true, but yes, thank you.
Happen for me to buy me a bed, people.
Yeah, buy us a bed. Get us a communal podcasting bed. That's you know what, that I'm on board with. If you can get us a bed and Lily and I have to do this show from a bed, that works perfect.
To buy me shit like that. That'd be great.
Oh, they didn't offer to buy. It was generally a kind of a feeling out of, hey, is there a way we could do this? Like, it wasn't like, I will buy you a bed this second if you say yes. Nobody's going to do it. Everybody's just going to say, hey, that's a good idea, and then just kind of let it pass.
You should have a bed fund on.
Yeah, no, I shouldn't. I'm not a fucking electronic hobo. I'm not that guy.
Not an electronic hobo.
Ugh, I can't be that dude.
All right, then everyone.
Oh, you know what? All I
extra
keep.
copies of stuff.
Although I don't know, I don't even know anymore. Everything I thought was right is wrong. Black is white. Day is night. Everything is upside down. Because I thought I knew how to handle things and get things done, and I don't anymore. I do not. Remember, I told you I went to Wheel of Fortune, and I was handsome, charming, and loved, or charming, handsome, and loved, or whichever order it was. And I was like, that's fucking great. All right, I'm going to tell you this, folks. I'm going to share this with you now. I was trolling through Craigslist and applying for jobs, as I have been doing, as a personal assistant or a driver or a pizza cook or a warehouse dude. I mean, I'm trying all these fucking jobs, getting none of them. And not even getting responses. That's the thing that drives me crazy, is I'm not even getting responses. They don't even write me back to say fuck you until
Dun, dun, dun.
I got a response from a guy who wanted me to be his personal assistant, which was pretty amazing. And he was offering $400 a week, but it was only like 20 hours. And you drive him, you do some errands, all that stuff. That's what his ad said anyway. Okay. Well, then he wrote me. And it said, hello, dear. Thank you for your inquiry into my position that I would be offering right now for you in America. And then it went downhill from there. It turns out he's a British businessman who has interests all over the world. And what he would need from me is to go to an office and do some light data entry and some phone work for him. And but most importantly, he wanted to start me out this week. I was to be hired immediately. He goes, normally I wouldn't do this with someone I hadn't met, but however, your inquiry was so strong, I felt immediately that you would be the person to do this. Here's what I need from you this week. I have you to take care of some bills that I have in America. I am right now in the Arab Emirates taking care of some oil stock futures. So what you're going to need to do for me is I'm going to send you a cashier's check. And what you'll need to do is deposit that in your bank, because they don't accept cashier's checks, and then write a personal check for the amount to these people, and it will be covered by the cashier's check that I send you. And I'm reading this, and it's poorly written, and there's misspellings, and the grammar is terrible. And I just picture some guy in the Congo, sitting in a cafe, rubbing his hands together, thinking that this idiot is going to fall for it. Like, I mean, I'm more insulted, like I said, always. I'm more insulted they think I'm that stupid. So he wanted, basically, it was a scam. The whole thing was a fucking scam on Craigslist to get me, like, I was supposed to jump at the opportunity to have the job, and he was going to send me the cashier's check, and the cashier's check would cover my first $400 for the week, and then this other amount, and then I would write a personal check for that amount, and I was just like, okay. So, and I wanted to string him along and write okay and like play it out and see where it went. And then I just went, no, because I'm going to wind up with a fucking arrow in my neck. You know what I mean? It'll just be, because that's the thing. They won't even send like real assassins. It'll just be some weird, they'll send the team of priests who tried to kill Damien in Damien Omen 3 and kept dying in fires and falling off of girders. I mean, it would just be this horrible fucking plan. And I just erased it. I deleted it, but I was so disheartened because it was the one response I've gotten, and it's some fucking dude from Bulgaria trying to get me on board, and I was like, God damn it, why? I found on Craigslist, I was trolling around looking for jobs, and I saw on the I told you there's all these adult film things and all that. There was a thing for a game show, and it said, we really need to cast this week, call this number. So I don't know anything about the show. And I will tell you this. This is still in play, so I don't think I'm going to give you the name just yet. But I called up on the phone. Here's the way it used to work when I auditioned for game shows. They schedule a bunch of appointments. You go in, you take a test, and then they interview you for a personality test. Okay? And I would always do very well on the tests. But then when you get to the personality test, forget it. I mean, you may as well just sign me up and book me right then, because it's going to happen. I am and this will sound arrogant and stupid, but I am a dream contestant for game shows because I'm really smart and I'm outgoing and I have personality. So, or at least that's what I thought, folks. Because this game show had a phone number, I called it, and this woman said, "All right, I'm going to give you a quiz over the phone." I said, "Well, don't I have to come in?" She goes, "No, we'll just give you the quiz over the phone and we'll see if we can move you into the next round." I said, "All right." So they gave me a pop culture quiz over the phone. And she would ask a question and I would answer it. She would ask a question, I would answer it. And then like 6 of them in there, she started laughing. And I was like, "What's funny?" She goes, "These are multiple choice." But I didn't need them because I knew the answers. That was the whole, we're like 10 questions deep and I'm just answering the questions. And she's like, I haven't even given you any of the choices yet. But I knew all the answers. So then she came to one question and I go, "Look, all right, I need the multiple choices for that one." I said, because when I hear it, I'll know it. And I got that one right. So when I would answer questions and I'd go, "Did I get that one?" She goes, "I can't tell you," which is usually the case. But I knew I was crushing it. It was like a 25. I said, "How many?" Finally, we get to like question 20. I go, "How many questions are on this quiz?" She goes, 25. There's one that I know I got wrong. Because she asked it and I went, "Oh man." I go, I'm not going to know that one. I'm going to have to guess. It was put the Kardashian sisters in order from oldest to youngest.
Now you would have known ass size.
Yeah, exactly. From best looking to ugliest would have been easy as well. But they wanted them in order from, and I fucked it all up. Like it's funny. I said Chloe, Courtney, Kim, or Chloe, Kim, Courtney. I thought Courtney was the youngest. She's the oldest. I had no idea. Also, who's younger? Kelly Clarkson, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift, or Justin Bieber? Might have been. It wasn't Bieber. It was a fourth girl, Adele. It was Adele, Taylor Swift, Miley Cyrus, and Kelly Clarkson. It's Miley Cyrus.
Okay, that one I would have guessed.
Yeah, and that's I knew that one. So those were the only 2 that were hard. Everything else was like, who was the vice president of the United States? What athlete won 12 gold medals? I mean, it's like all and that's the thing is those tests are easy. It's because it's all about your personality. So I crushed the test. I knew I did. She's like, "Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll get this information to our casting department and we'll see if they call you." I said, "Okay, great." They called me in 10 minutes. And she said, "Hey, you did well on the quiz. We'd like to hear from you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a packet." She goes, "But we're casting very quickly. So the turnaround time on this is really very fast, which is actually beneficial to me because if I'm good, that means I'm in." Because I did that with another show. I forget what it was, where I went in and it was really close to the wire, and it might have been Greed, and they immediately put me in the mix. Because normally there's a fucking waiting list and all that bullshit. Well, these guys, I guess, are filming fast, so they said, "Look, we need people." And I should tell you, top prize on this show is 25 grand. So it wasn't like bullshit fur coats or anything. It's money. So I passed. She goes, "We're going to send you a packet. We need you to fill it out." And I said, "Okay, great." I go, "And then do I bring it in? When's my meeting?" And she's like, "No, you just send it back to us." I said, "All right." So she sends me this packet, and I open it up. One of them is 6 pages, which is a disclaimer. It's all a disclaimer, and that's all just shit you got to read and sign. But then they had a packet of information they wanted to know about me, and that was 10 pages.
Jesus Christ.
And so I go, "All right." So I download it, and I go to type in it, and you can't type. And I read the email. I have to fill them out longhand. I have to print everything, fill it out with longhand with a pen, and fax it back to them. Because apparently their office is in 1996. Who the fuck fax? Really? Really? That should have been one of the quizzes. What are the most outdated office technologies in this list? Laptops, fucking data entry keys, 10 key by touch, or fucking ridiculous fax machines. Are you kidding me? So I print it out, and then it's questions like, what is one thing nobody knows about you? All those ridiculous things. And then they say, have you ever been on a show? And you have to fill out, I will tell you this, now it's very thorough. It used to be in the old days you can kind of fudge it because there was no internet and they couldn't really look you up. But they'll find out now if you don't. So I had to tell them everything I've been on in this fucking square. And it's so funny because I think I'm a failure, and I am. But when you start writing down all the times you've been on television and you go, oh, well, I mean, the normal person wouldn't have 9 appearances on regular television. So in addition to commercials, that's not even counting commercials. That's just counting shows I've been on. So I was like, Jesus Christ, that's weird. And then it made me feel even worse because I need to win this game show. That's how bad it's gotten. So they started asking questions about, look, or you know me. Okay. So I should have brought the packet. Jesus. They asked me like how I intend to win this game. They said, how do you intend to win the game? And I said, by ruthlessly crushing everyone in my way with a smile on my face. Because that's funny to me. And it also should show them personality. You know what I mean? But it's also true. I'm not going to lie to you. It's also true. And then what was the other question they asked? I mean, there's a ton. It's 9 pages worth of questions. What's your relationship with your mother? What's your relationship with your father? Like it got this weird to the point where in my head I went, is this like a ruse to put people in jail? Like you know when the cops have that thing where they offer Super Bowl tickets for guns? Like they're just looking for mental patients. So they can send out this 9-page questionnaire. Tell us about your mom. Well, my mom is a horrible. Oh my God, book them. But yeah, by ruthlessly crushing everyone in my way with a smile on my face. I wrote that, and then they said, what are the things you're most proud of and unproud of and all that shit, or what's something in it? And I just wrote, I said, I'm an open book about me and other people, and it's probably a mistake sometimes, but I don't have any filter at all. And because it's stupid me, I try to be honest because I thought honesty would be enough to, along with the quiz that I destroyed over the phone, be enough. And so I should tell you this too. I talked to her and she said, I'm going to send you this package. I said, okay. I waited about a half an hour and I didn't get it. So I went to sleep because, as you know, I sleep during the day. So it was like 3:30 in the afternoon when this happened. I crashed. I woke up at 9. She'd left 2 voicemails wondering where the package was, why I hadn't filled it out. I mean, that's how much of a hurry they're in. So I get the package. I download it. I fill it out overnight and I go to Kinko's at 4 a.m. and I fax it to their office. Folks, the reason I had to go to Kinko's is because I have a fax machine on my computer, but I'm dumb. So my wife usually does all that, and I'm not going to wake up at 4 a.m. to fucking do that for me. So, because I don't know, you have to scan the pages into the computer and then fax them. But then the last time we tried to do it, it didn't work. Something is up with the fax program. I don't fucking know. Who knows? Again, it's a fax fucking... You know what's up with it? It's 30 years old technology. Bring me into your office. Let me fucking charm you with who I am and hand you this paper. But instead, I had to go to Kinko's and send it. Now, folks, I don't know if you're aware of this. Have you been to Kinko's recently? Have you sent a fax? Yeah. You know, they charge you to fax stuff. Yeah. They charge you per page to fax stuff. You know how many pages I had to fax? 18. You know how much they charge to fax? $1.59 a page. No, I apologize. $1.59 for the first page. $1.49 for each page thereafter. So I'm looking at, and I laughed out loud because I'm alone at a Kinko's by myself. The counter guy is it. And so I filled out this questionnaire in a way, like I explained, I wrote about the anecdote about how I did the game show, and I said, they were like, do you expect to be good at this game? And I said, here's an example. And I wrote about how I was on the game show where I was answering every question, and the guy went, I hate Mike, like on the air. I actually wrote that in there so they knew. So they knew what they were getting into. They said, have you ever made anybody angry while playing a game? That was the question. And I put that in there, and I put another one in there where I was playing Trivial Pursuit one time. This has happened a few times, actually, with 2 different groups of people. I've told this story. Remember on Game Show Guy, whatever the fuck it was I did one year. Yeah, I was playing Trivial Pursuit with these guys, and they were pissing me off. So it was the same thing where I wouldn't even let them finish the question. They'd start asking the question, and I'd answer it, and I'd just pick up the dice and I'd roll. Like I wouldn't even wait for them. And they were fucking mad because everybody else is having fun at a board game, and I'm trying to crush everyone in my path with a smile on my face. So I fill out this questionnaire, and I go to fax it, and I have to have a cover letter. So I fill out the cover letter, and it has a space for comments. And I just wrote, it's costing me $27 to fax this to you. which means that my grand prize is now $24,973. But I'll take it. And I signed it and I faxed it. And I went home. Again, it's like 4 a.m. So I go home. Karen gets up. She goes to work. And I can't wait. Like, I'm just sitting there waiting for them because I know because they're in a hurry. So I know they're going to be in the office at 8 a.m. They're going to see my paperwork and call me right away. And so in my head, again, I haven't slept. So I'm like, I should try to get a nap because they're going to call me to come in today and interview or film or whatever. And I go, well, fuck. You know what? I'll wait. I'll wait to hear from them and see if they want me in because I can handle it. So I waited up and 8 came and 9 came and 10 o'clock came and 11 o'clock came and I didn't hear from them. And I'm like, oh, don't tell me the fax didn't go through. I had a confirmation sheet, but you never know. Because again, unless I can go right to your office and fucking hand it to you, I can't prove that it got there. Because that's how I feel about my emails that I'm sending on Craigslist, all of these job emails. Because I'm sending them out. I'm actually BCCing another address and they go to the other address. But I don't think they're going to these job people because nobody even writes me back to go fuck you. Nobody at all. And I'm also putting read upon receipt notices and I'm not getting any of those. So I called them. I should tell you, I called them after I sent a follow-up email. Because when I got home, I answered her email because she was like, you know what, we're really casting. And I had gotten her voicemail, like I told you, where she's like, hey, where's this package? So, and it also dawned on me, all right, let's put it this way. They asked for 3 references, too, in this 9 package, whatever the fuck. They wanted the names of people who've known me for 5 years, and they wanted their phone numbers and their addresses and all this stuff. Well, I put Lily's name on there, and I put my buddy Pat on there, and I threw my buddy Paul on there, and I just said, you know, I gave the cities they lived in, and I did not give your phone numbers. And this was my mistake, all right? I didn't give the phone numbers of my friends, and I also, they wanted a fucking, a photocopy of my driver's license. Which I did not send because, again, I'm faxing it. And I know they're going to see me the next day, so I'll bring that in. And they wanted a picture of me. I'm going to fax a picture of me. I mean, I don't. So I wrote the email and I said, hey, I sent my paperwork this morning at 4 a.m. I apologize. Because I even said to her, I have a really upside down schedule. I said, it's because of my upside down schedule. I didn't get a hold of you. So I've sent my paperwork now. I said, I also did not send a photo of me, but you can go to Facebook. I said, all of my photos exist in my phone or on my laptop. I go, I would have to print that out and then fax that to you. So it's easier if you just go to my website or you go to my Facebook page. And then I said, it dawns on me I did not send my driver's license. I said, I'll be happy to bring that in when I come and see you tomorrow. And I didn't deal with the phone numbers because I wrote on the thing, I don't give my friend's personal information out without checking with them. It's 4 a.m. I haven't been able to speak to them. That's fine. So in the email, and then I wrote, I'm around, and they needed me to be available. They said Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this weekend. Well, Friday and Saturday, I'm in Texas. Yeah. So I wrote her, I said, listen, I said, I don't know if that's a deal breaker on Friday and Saturday. I said, if you're auditioning all 3 days or if there's a wait, I said, I'm only in town Sunday, but I'm available whenever you need me on Sunday. Unfortunately, I'm gone Friday and Saturday, but, I would love to come in. And here's what I did. I wrote the email as if I was already on the show. Because there's no way I wouldn't be. I crushed your quiz. I'm fucking hilarious. I'm awesome. Idiot. And so I sent this email, and so then again, I'm doubting everything now. When you don't have a job, when you don't have anything, you start doubting every fucking move you make. I even doubt coming here on days. I'm not joking. I doubt this show. You get in your own head where you think, well, fuck, I can't do anything. Obviously, nobody will contact me. I can't even get a fucking email back on whatever. So I called them to follow up after I didn't hear from them at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I asked for the woman. And they said, yeah, who's calling? And I said, my name. And I said, I'm following up. They said, great. And they put me on hold. And the day before, she took my call. And this time they come back on and they go, yeah, she can't come to the phone, but she wants you to know that she just got your paperwork. And I said, okay, well, that's all I'm calling to check on. And they go, do you need anything else? I go, no, that's fine. I'm available. And you have all my phone numbers. So she said there was kind of an urgency about this. They go, oh, yeah, we're definitely in a hurry. I said, great. Call me. I'm ready. And I hung up. And that was it. I have not heard from them. This was yesterday. So obviously I didn't make the cut. And I don't know. But here's the thing. I wanted to call them again today and ask what was going on. But I'm nobody. I keep coming at this as if, because I know I would be great. And I know that the second they met me and talked to me, they would want to use me, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm sure I don't know if the Friday and Saturday thing was the deal breaker. I don't know if my forward personality was the deal breaker. I don't know if the fact that I've appeared on 9 television shows was the deal breaker. That's the thing. I don't know. And they don't give a shit because they'll just fill it and they're in a hurry anyway and they'll find somebody else. But you're never going to find anybody who would have been as fucking good as I was. Never. I would have been fucking... And it's on a primetime network. It's another thing I'll tell you. It's on a major network. It's not like on Sci-Fi or some bullshit. Nothing against Sci-Fi. You want to give me a job, do it. But I mean, it's on... Fuck, I should just tell you what it is. Nah, who cares? It'll be on. When it's on this summer, you'll see it. And I'll go, hey, that was it. I can't because I don't know. And that was another thing.
It's on Craigslist and the name is on Craigslist.
No, it wasn't. It literally, it was just a phone number. So I called and I had to sign, in the 6 pages that I signed, it's an NDA.
Oh, then you can't say it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's only if I'm cast in the show. It's because I read it very clearly. It's like you cannot release any information about the show or what, as long as you're a participant. Well, I'm not a participant, but that's the point is I still might be, so I don't want to fuck it up. Yeah. Although I might have already. I might have burned this down. Who the fuck knows? Not that they're going to listen. Although, honestly, maybe they listen to this fucking show. We can't have that motherfucker on the show because they asked me so many personal questions. They're like, have you ever posed nude on the internet? And I wanted to go, well, does my phone count as the internet? I have no idea. I should have texted that to her. Hey, guess what? Here's the answer to question 4. You wind up questioning yourself all the time. And so now I find myself drawing inspiration from people, and it's so strange to do that at 45, to look at people who've accomplished things and have gotten the place where they want to be, and you should be your own motivation, right? Shouldn't you just make yourself do fucking things that you're supposed to do? But once you're getting kicked in the fucking face over and over and over, you wind up kind of getting beaten down, and you're like, man, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I can't do this, or maybe people don't like me. But then you see people who actually accomplish things, and you wind up, I don't want to say living vicariously through them, but it gives you a charge, man. I watched a UFC fight this weekend, and I watched the whole card, and it was great. But there was a huge debate. There's a woman named Ronda Rousey, who I think I've talked about on here, and she is a UFC fighter. She's a woman, and she's the first women's champion in the history of the UFC. They've never had women's MMA. Dana White is always like, I don't want to see chicks fight. Basically, that's what he said, because Dana White is like a serious bro. It's like, I want to love him because I love what he's done for the sport, but Jesus Christ, when he talks, sometimes he's a jagoff. And I mean, look, I'm a jagoff too, but he's a different kind of jagoff. Like, after the UFC, he texted a picture of himself with Rancid at dinner. The guys from Rancid. He's like, here with my boys from Rancid. I'm like, did you have to fly back to 1998 to meet them? Did you send them a fax of where to meet you for dinner? Jesus Christ. No offense against Rancid. They're good guys. And they had a song that made me think of my brother Glenn. Rancid had a song. What was it? Black coat, black shoes, black Cadillac. Oh, the boy's a time bomb. I used to think of my brother Glenn when I heard that song, because my brother Glenn is, he's a parent with kids, but there was a time there where you were just like, yeah, my brother Glenn invented Columbine about 15 years before it happened. He just never pulled it off. He was a different kind of cat. Wow. I'm serious, man. My brother, it would not have shocked me at all. It's like, I talked about that on here. They fucking threw him out of school because they said he pointed a fake gun when they said Reagan was coming. I talked about that by year 3 or whatever the fuck. But yeah, Glenn's a different dude. But when I heard that song, it was like black coat, black shoes, black hair, Cadillac. And I was like, yeah, that's Glenn, except for the red hair. My brother Glenn, for a while there, he looks like he could have been one of the Boondock Saints. You know what I mean? Walking around in that outfit. All right, never mind. Awful movie, by the way. Jesus Christ, quit telling me it's good. There are people who swear by that movie, and I finally watched it, and I sat there just slack-jawed going, seriously? People like this? It's just a tragedy. And I love Willem Dafoe and Sean O'Flannery and William O'Hoopty or whatever the fuck the other guys are. It's all these Irish dudes. They cast like a million Irish dudes. I don't know his name. And good. I don't know. He's great. He's a terrific actor. William O'Hoopty is fantastic. You've never seen his work? I think he played a leprechaun and a potato in a movie. That was it. 2 different movies, and he was a Boondock Saint. He's been a leprechaun. He's been a potato. He's been a Boondock Saint. And he played a shamrock in a movie too, if I remember correctly. And he played a shillelagh in a movie. He's very well faceted. William O'Hoopty is he's just a wonderful actor. Played a beer. He played a shillelagh. He didn't play them. He acted as them.
Oh, he acted as them.
Yes. He was a Boondock Saint. He was a shamrock. He was a shillelagh. He was a leprechaun. He was a potato, and he was a beer. He's been all of these different things in so many movies.
Oh my God.
My favorite role, he played Soda Bread. All right, so how did I get into this? Oh, I was Ronda Rousey. So I find myself, lost a little bit. But then you see people who are accomplishing the things that they want to accomplish, and I wonder what separates me from them. And I admire them. Ronda Rousey, again, her story is ridiculous. All right, she was a young girl, and she saw her father get injured in a way where he wound up killing himself, and then she had to have that news. So I relate to that. Anybody who's had a dead dad is immediately in the Mike Schmidt club, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you got a dead dad. That's the secret knock. Actually, you know what the secret knock is? It's knock, 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 knock. That's the secret knock at the Mike Schmidt Dead Dads Club. It's me, Rick Springfield, Ronda Rousey. So Ronda Rousey is this. I watch her, and I'm fascinated by how she became what she is. And she's now a UFC champion. She's an Olympic athlete. She won a bronze medal. She's the first American woman to ever medal in judo. Her mom is this amazing judo person who won the world championships as a woman younger. And I see these people and I see what they've accomplished. And I'm like, why the fuck am I not them? Why am I on a chair watching them do that? What's separating me from them? And it inspires me. It doesn't make me go, oh man, woe is me. It makes me go, fuck, you should be doing that. And of course, it makes me do that for about 20 minutes and the show ends and I'm like, whatever. And then I don't do anything about it. It's ridiculous. I'll sit there and I'm like, God, that's fascinating. I really wish I could accomplish those things. Well, I probably could if I put my mind to it. Hey, what's on the internet for 9 hours? And then I dive into my YouTube hole, which is fine, because you know what? Normally it sounds like it would be a terrible thing because you're just wasting time, and most of the time it is wasting time. But then you stumble into shit that's inspiring. Today, I must have watched this clip 30 times, and I put it on my Facebook page. There's a clip of 9 Inch Nails from 2009, and they're on stage, and they're joined by Gary Newman. Is he human? As me and Mike Scott used to say when we were kids, Gary Newman, who sang Cars back in the 80s. He does Cars with 9 Inch Nails. And first of all, the opening of the clip, like the first 15 seconds, is the best because the crowd has no idea what's coming. They're just sitting there, and they're young, and they wouldn't know the song Cars if you said, hey, you know that song Cars? But the second they hear it, they go fucking crazy because it's 9 Inch Nails, first of all, and they're playing Cars, and Gary Newman is there. Gary Newman is on stage with them, and also, he's like 56. What is with these dudes who are preserved in like, they must sleep in a salt cake or something because their skin, nothing bad has happened to Gary Newman. Nothing bad has happened to Rick Springfield. I don't know what the fuck happened to these guys. They're just preserved. They sleep in a cask. I mean, it's insane. They're like pickled. They're pickled humans. But Gary Newman is hopping around singing. He's got a black t-shirt on, and he looks completely different from his videos from the 80s. Because I should tell you this, Cars is one of my all-time favorite songs. Again, as we mentioned, talking about songs earlier, that's one of those songs that you just hear, and it's great anytime. Like, it's clearly of its time period, but it doesn't matter because now it fucking rocks. And it's actually been remade a few times. Some band remade it on a soundtrack. Remember I talked about soundtracks and you hear a song and then it disappears and you never hear it again? Oh, fuck, I was going to tell you this. Remember, there's a song... You know who Faster Pussycat is? Of course you do. Everybody does. Yeah. Faster Pussycat sang a song called Bathroom Wall, which was a fucking jam. But they were just, it's Brent Muscat, and he was the guitar player. Look, it's very important that you know these. And Tie Me Down. Tie Me Down was the lead singer. And they were around when Guns N' Roses and those guys were around, but they were a little more weirdy, gothy, but they did metal, I think, just to get noticed, and then they got weirder as time progressed. But they... had Bathroom Wall, which was a hit song, and then they had that song. What was that song? House of Pain. No one knows in my... terrible, awful version. Terrible song. But Bathroom Wall is a jam. But then, one day I was sitting there, it was like the 80s, and I heard on the radio, I heard the guitar start, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what this is. And you know the song You're So Vain by Carly Simon? Faster Pussycat covered it. And it's fucking great. It's great because look, you can't fuck up a great song unless you're on American Idol. Then you can fuck up a great song because those people, I don't know who told them that you need to strangle every song to death, but somebody did. And but the show rewards it. That's why they were told that. But you watch that show. I saw some guy sing Dock of the Bay, and I was like, Otis Redding is going to come to life. He's going to climb out of the sea because that's and fucking throttle you right there on the bay. I can't believe you're ruining this fucking song. God damn it. Otis Redding, he's going to go to Lily's party and get 3 colored people, and they're going to come and kill you. So, But Faster Pussycat redid. They redid You're So Vain, but you can't find it anywhere at all, because it was on an Elektra Records 50th anniversary compilation album that I can't find. And I've tried. Sadly, for literally 10 years, I've tried to find that song. And she's going to go to YouTube now and look at it and go, hey, it's on YouTube and you can steal it. Good for you. Whatever. You here in your stripe outfit, breaking rocks on a chain gang, maybe you're stealing stuff from the internet. I'm not. Damn it. The internet is my livelihood. I wouldn't defile it by stealing from it. But if you can do it, go ahead. So yeah, the You're So Vain by Faster Pussycat, great song. But same thing with Cars. Cars is just an amazing song. And then it was remade on the soundtrack for Not Another Teen Movie, where that's where Marilyn Manson did Tainted Love. You ever heard Marilyn Manson's version of Tainted Love? Oh, it's a fucking jam. But on that same album, I think Saliva did Cars. Was it Saliva? Who was it who did Cars on that album? Are you going to look that up for me? You're not. You're like, nope.
You can get the CD of Faster Pussycat's Greatest Hits, and You're So Vain is on it, and it's $7.99.
It is not on it. When did that go up? I swear to God, I've been looking forever.
October 13th, 2003 was when this was released.
No, that's when the album was released.
The original album was released in 2000.
Well, where can I get that? So can I do?
Amazon.com. You can buy it for $7.99.
All right. Well, no, I don't want Faster Pussycat's Greatest Hits for $7.99. I want You're So Vain. That's all I want. Why the fuck would I buy their... I just told you House of Pain is a terrible song. I would buy Bathroom Wall, and I would buy You're So Vain, and then I would laugh at the rest of the album. So I have no interest in... Look, $8 is $8, and at this point, I can't shell out 80 cents for that fucking song. But still, I've looked forever, and I couldn't find it, but good for you for digging it up. Do me a favor. Google Baby, and see what comes up.
Got it first hit.
Done. It's a Static X song, I swear to God it is. So I watched Cars today, and I watched it like 30 times. And you know what? There was no inspiration to be taken from Gary Newman, except for the fact that I will say the message I took from Gary Newman. God, I loved that song. I still love that song, but when I was a kid, and this is the thing, the remake on the Not Another Teen Movie soundtrack is a rockin' version of Cars. It's like a guitar-heavy version instead of a keyboard version. And then watching it today, it's got the keys and stuff, but it's still 9 Inch Nails behind it banging it, and the fucking drums, and it's so clean, and Gary Newman sounds good, and it inspired me because I went, you know what? There's two different things there in Gary Newman and in Trent Reznor. There's two different things. One is Gary Newman, because I don't know fuck all about Gary Newman. I know nothing. I know Cars and that's it. And apparently he flies jets now, because I talked to someone about it. When I told Mex that I was in like a fucking weird Gary Newman hole today, and he's like, oh my God, he wears a piece, right? That was the first thing out of his mouth. I go, I don't know. He looked fucking like he totally had hair on this video. He goes, nah, he was on some show and he was flying jets and he had like the worst piece in history. I go, he grabbed his hair in the video and he like gave it a yank. And I was like, almost like a message to you, Mex. He's like, well, that's, I don't know. He goes, so does Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck touches his hair. And I go, yeah, that's a good point. Oh my God. Crazy. That is a serious piece.
Never looked at him long enough to notice.
Yeah. Well, it's like Ted Danson. You know, Ted Danson's had a piece forever.
Yeah.
But when I say forever, I mean during Cheers, that was a piece.
Yeah, but he takes it off now in that you're bored.
Now he does, but in the 80s, here's the thing. In the 80s, he had the Sam Malone hair and stuff. I think I've talked about this story. There was a picture of him in the Orange County Register once at a charity event. He had a hat on, but the hat was way up his head, and he was bald, like George Washington fucking bald, with like silver hair for sideburns. He looked like his own father. It was crazy. So I take no inspiration from that, Ted Danson. But the inspiration I take is from guys like Gary Newman, who created one brilliant thing. Because again, I don't know anything about him. He may have other great songs. He may have other good songs. He may have songs that might suck. I don't know. All I know is one song, but it's a song I've known since 1982, and I will never forget. And every time I hear it, I fucking love it. But then, every time I hear it in a different incarnation, it sounds just as good. So the inspiration there is to create something, one thing. Even if you create one thing that lives on, you've done well for yourself. And on the same stage is Trent Reznor, who's done so much more than just one thing. He's done everything. He's been a rock guy, successful. He's scoring things, that's successful. The inspiration you take from him is to just never stop and to always create. And don't ever be limited by what you think you can or can't do. Just fucking do it. Just do it. Don't ever let anybody tell you can't do stuff. And I know that I sound like fucking Tony Robbins now at the end of this, but this is literally the shit that I find out I wind up taking from this. I watched Reznor today when they cut across to him and he's on stage and he's soaked in sweat with fucking Gary Newman, and you know he's just balls to the fucking wall at that concert, and you know he does that every fucking night. He goes out there and plays hard and brings people. Because, you know, I haven't done stand-up in forever, and I'm like, well, I got to go back out and do it. Well, just quit thinking about it. Just fucking do it. You see these guys doing it. Why aren't you doing it? You see guys creating things that you admire, that you love, that inspire you. Why can't you be that guy? You see someone like Ronda Rousey, who, like I said, you know, she gets shit on constantly because, oh, I don't want to see chicks fight, or I don't want to do this, or why would I pay to see that? You know why you'd pay to see it? Because she's fucking amazing. That's why. Because she's an Olympic athlete who gets up at fucking 4 a.m, takes 80 supplements, works her ass off, goes and does interviews, and then goes and works her ass off again, and then fights and looks good doing it. And it is an inspiration. And then has to deal with fucking haters. There's a guy in Milwaukee who wrote a fucking article in the paper about how it was a gimmick that women were fighting and it was terrible and it was like porn to have girls that were scantily clad and rolling around. And it's like, dude, you're old. It has passed you by. It has passed you by. If that's what you take from 2 women involved in an athletic competition that it looks like porn to you, then turn off your fucking TV and eat a bullet at this point. Because the world has changed. You can go ahead. Anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. That's the message. Everybody can do anything that they want to do. The internet has allowed that. You can reach out to people, and that's why you listen to me. It's fucking amazing. I love it. I love because I wake up and I worry. I wonder when I can come here and whether I can do another show and if people even want to fucking hear it. And I'm not joking. That's every week. You fight that battle where you're like, Jesus, I don't know if I can bring that, because I don't ever want to take it for granted. I don't ever want to take for granted that I can just come here and spit out a fucking show or put an effort in. Because I always say to you, I talk until I'm done, and that's true. I talk until I'm done. But I don't ever want to be done. I don't ever want to be done in individual shows. I don't ever want to be done, period. Because I think, oh man, I don't know if I can do a year 6. Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't know if I can get through year 5. Shut the fuck up and talk. Be you. Be funny. Don't let that kind of thing get into your fucking head. Don't let what other people tell you affect you. Don't let the fact that you can't get a fucking phone call or an email returned can fucking get to you. Don't let the fact that you can't find someone to drive you home from the airport on Sunday get to you. That's right. How fucking weird is that? I've reached out to friends and said, hey, can I get a ride home from the airport? No. Like just flat out no. One of them was busy. He's got something going on. Another guy's just like, yeah, I can't help you. And it's like, am I that bad a guy? Because if my friends needed a ride from the airport, I would do it in a second. I've done it. I've done it for these same guys and picked them up. And just this weird no. I was like, Jesus, am I that much of a pill that you don't want to be in the car with me for 45 fucking minutes? But you know, the thing is, that's not true. They would be in the car with me. I'm being an idiot, quite frankly, because I'm so beaten down and thinking that nobody wants me and nobody likes me and I eat worms and what the fuck, man? That's not the case. They're your friends. They got shit going on. They can't help you. They can't help you. Don't make it a big fucking thing. But no, instead, I spiral off into these things about what did I do? What could I have possibly done? Jesus Christ, get out of your head. Get out of your head. Be Gary Newman. Make one great thing. Go do it. Be Gary Newman and make one great fucking thing. Do that. Be Trent Reznor. Be someone who goes out and makes a ton of work that you can draw from that people love. And be different and be multifaceted and be yourself. Always be true to yourself. You know what? I'm fucking going to do that. I'm probably not, but who cares? I'm going to say now that I'm going to do it because I wind up getting in my head and I stand up and I'm like, yeah, I want to run 10 miles. And then I sit the fuck down and I go, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Everything is tomorrow. Everything is fucking tomorrow. But I need to fucking get that mindset where it's today. It has to happen today, right? I mentioned last week I wasn't going to write a book. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to write a book. And I made a joke about it. And then everybody wrote me and go, we would buy your book. If you wrote a book, we would absolutely buy it. And then people wrote me and said they wanted to buy me a bed. And I think to myself, Jesus, am I wasting this? Am I wasting all of this by not thinking as much of me as you guys do? Because I don't ever want you guys to think of me the way I think of me. And I know that sounds weird, but as I'm sure some of you might know, you can only get told so many times that you're not good before you start to let it creep into your head a little bit. Or you can just be ignored so many times before you start to think, hey man, do I got to shout louder? Is that what I have to do? Do I have to shout it out loud? There's got to be a party, right? But I just want to make sure that I'm not wasting all of the goodwill you guys have shown me, man. And I'm not setting this out there as a way for you guys to write me and be like, gee, Mike, and chuck me on the fucking chin, because I know you're there. You're there listening. Otherwise, I wouldn't fucking do this every week. I would. I just wouldn't record it. I'd just do it in my house and nobody would get to fucking hear it. But I know you're out there. I know you're all fucking with me. And you're all, you know what? I need you. I need you people with me here in my car. That's right. This podcast is like my car. And here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock all my doors. It's the only way to live in this car. And I need you jammed in it with me as I ruthlessly crush everyone in my path with a fucking smile on my face. You guys can get me at mikeandmikeschmidtcomedy.com. You can be my friend at facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. I've been very active over there. Why not jump in? You can be friends with our friend David Hernandez at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. You can be our friend with Lily Von Stupp, or a friend of Lily Von Stupp at lilyvonstupp.facebook.something. Hold on. It's facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at two different Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and Twitter.com/MNTs. And also Twitter.com/FN Party?
FN Happy Hour.
FN Happy Hour.
And BQ classes.
Twitter.com/BQ classes.
I have too many Twitter spaces.
No, not at all. I think you need 4 more. But if you want to write her...
I actually have 3 more if you'd like them.
Let's go. Let's hear them.
I don't want to.
If you want to write her a personal note and find out exactly where she got those hula moves from, you can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Smile is sky.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It is the longest running, the hottest, the sexiest burlesque show in the history of the city of Los Angeles in Southern California. All of California.
Really?
On the West Coast. I include Seattle and Portland in there. That's right. Everybody's getting trumped by the Monday Night Teas. And the good news is I happen to know the producer of that show.
What?
I do. It's amazing. She does an amazing job. And I'm lucky enough to not only call her a friend, but call her a coworker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our good friend Lily Von Stupp. Hey, Lily.
How is that better?
What?
Not only my friend, but a coworker.
I didn't say it was better. It's just you are.
Okay.
It's just stating a fact.
Okay.
How are you, Lily?
I am okay.
That's good news. How was last week's show?
Last week's show was awesome.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it was great.
That's great. And was it a theme? It wasn't a theme last week, was it?
The theme was awesome.
Huh.
We delivered. This week's theme, awesome.
Nice. Who's on this week's show delivering the awesome?
Actually, this week's theme is teen angst, and we have an act from Heather's. We have an act that is based off of Pretty in Pink. We have an act based off of The Craft. We have all of these teen angst type acts.
Which song from Pretty in Pink? Pretty in Pink?
It's a mashup, and I can't remember right now what it is.
Well, then let's tease it. They got to come and check it out.
They do.
You folks have to come on Monday night and see some teen angst over there at the burlesque show. Because there's nothing better than faux teens taking off clothes, right?
Dressed as teens.
That's what I'm saying. Faux teens dressed as teens and then removing their clothes to show you the ultimate adult lady underneath. Because nobody wants to see teens taking their clothes off. Fuck all that. You got to see some women, right? Which is exactly how I feel about it. I mean, you guys may, your opinions may differ. Your mileage may vary, if I may go way back in the internet. YMMV. So that's good. Will you be involved in this show, Lily?
I am hosting.
Oh, so are you a teen in this show? Will you be dressed in a poodle skirt?
Here's what's weird. Normally I host dressed as Carrie, and I just don't know if I have it in me.
Oh, because you do the blood carry, right?
It's completely covered, and it's a mess, and yeah. And I do love it, but it's a lot of fucking work.
I don't doubt it. And then you got to go to breakfast afterwards. You're all sticky.
Yeah, I may have to pick a different... Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I forgot who's in it this year. We have a Ferris Bueller. I'm so excited.
Oh, good.
We have a Bueller. It's Tito Benito.
Oh, yes, good for you. Why are there boys in your shows? Enough. I cannot stress enough. I don't go to your show to see boys. And of course, it's all about me, as we all know. Well, good for you, Tito's. He's a fantastic performer, from what I've heard. And ladies enjoy him, and I will be happy to tolerate him if I'm there.
So I don't know how I'll be hosting, but we will have some sort of teen tie-in.
And he's doing Ferris.
He is.
That's great. Twist and shout, gotta be, right?
A little bit of that and a little bit of Donkashing.
Oh, maybe a little Zig Zig Sputnik. Throw that in there.
It's gonna be
Here goes my little rocket red. That's me doing Zig Zig Sputnik.
yeah.
It's great. I thought it was really good. Oh, so the theme here is let's be mean to Mike. Well,
That's the
all right. All right.
Are you done?
Oh. Yeah. Well, good, actually.
Oh, come
No,
on.
that's fine.
I love your making pouty face.
All right. I see where I stand. Remember what you know what? I take it back. I'm happy to call her a coworker. We'll stick with that. Let's not rush the friend thing. Remember that you guys can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page. There's all sorts of stuff there for sale for you. There are mugs. There are, those are available through Zazzle.com. TweakedAudio.com/40 is a huge sponsor of this show. We do appreciate all of the things they've done for us. Bruce and Peggy and everyone else over there at TweakedAudio.com/40. Go through them for your autoerotic asphyxiation earbud needs and also your cock ring watches needs. There are t-shirts available. The Scar Panda and Red Boy are available in sizes from small to extra large. The download, the $5 audio download of the Schmidt Comes Alive at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival is available now. A story you've never heard on this show, so pick it up and listen to it now. We're selling the prints, obviously autographed prints, the artwork for the shows, any of the explosions of id, any of the Facebook timelines, any of the actual artwork for the shows themselves will be autographed by me, by Lily, and our friend David Hernandez, the artist, the amazing artist, who you can see a lot of his work over at artbydmh.com. Check out the stuff that he's done, and if you have a business and want to hire him, go ahead and do that. And by the way, I am current on all orders. If you've ordered anything from me, it is sent. Artwork to Rich and Mark, and t-shirts to Australia, and t-shirts to Calgary, Alberta, and t-shirts to our friend Lauren and everybody else. And while we're talking, let's talk about our friend Dave Zawacki, who's a good guy and donated to the show this week. Bought tickets to Detroit, which I'll talk about in just a second, and then threw me a donation, which was really nice of him. And, on the MikeSchmidtComedy.com page in the upper left-hand corner, you can donate to the show by clicking on the little Schmitty with his pocket out, and you can subscribe monthly to the show at $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. And you can also give individual one-time donations like our friend Dave Zawacki did, and I do appreciate that. Dave listens to me while he's working on an assembly line at, I don't want to say the car company, because people will know why they are shoddily made now, because one of their main guys is listening to a dumbass scream in his fucking earbuds for hours while he's trying to build doors. So let's give them a pass, but just know that Dave is a good guy and he went ahead and donated to the show, and I do appreciate that very much. And all of you who've donated, thank you. And I talk about you sometimes. We used you in a picture as well, but I'll get back to bringing up names and things. But this is gonna sound stupid. I hate making Lily do work. So then when I wanted to record drops or something like that with the names, and then I'm like, I can't make Lily do that because I feel like an idiot. And it's not on her, it's on me because I'm stupid. So if you've donated, thank you so much. I just want to make sure you know that we do appreciate all of it, and all the monthly donors and everybody else. Thank you for stepping up. We do appreciate it very much. But, you can go to, what else do we have on sale? Did I cover everything on the page? Oh, and you know what? Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4 of the show are available individually, or you can buy them all together as the Podcast of the Caribbean set. And that way you'll get four sets for the price of 3, or 4 prices for the sets of 4. I don't know what any of that means. Go to Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and be my friend there, and go to the page and look around. There are live dates afoot. There are pages to support if you'd like me to come to your town, although I will say live dates right now are kind of on hold, other than the ones that I already have scheduled, which are this week. San Antonio, Texas, at the Woodlawn Black Box Theater. I will be there this Saturday night at 8 o'clock, folks. I am excited. It should be fun. I get to town on Friday at night. It's a quick trip, literally 36 hours. I'm in and out, but I know the show will go well, and I hope you guys buy some tickets because they are available right now at brownpapertickets.com. Some people in Texas have stepped up, but it tapered off a little bit too. I would love to sell tickets because, I have a goal, and I haven't reached it, and let's do that. But tickets are available now at brownpapertickets.com for the show in San Antonio this Saturday, March 2nd at 8 o'clock. Go to brownpapertickets.com for all the information. And while you're there, go ahead and look for tickets for Detroit, which is the following week, Saturday, March 9th. Tickets are available now at brownpapertickets.com, as I've mentioned, and that's at the Woodlawn. No, that's in San Antonio. It's at the Box Theater, in Detroit. Or not, actually in Mount Clemens, which is a little further from Detroit, but should be fun. I'm excited about that show next week. That's this week in San Antonio, Texas, March 2nd, March 9th in Detroit next week. And then at the end of the month, March 29th, I will be in Portland at the Headwaters Theater. Tickets are on sale for that right now at brownpapertickets.com. Go ahead and pick up tickets for Portland. That's a Friday night, that show. And then the following Friday after after Portland is San Francisco, where I will be in and taping my CD for Special Thing Records at the Dark Room Theater, which is why it's important that I get a crowd for these other shows, because then I can know what's working and what's not working, and then I'll go into the CD, and then nobody will buy it. But still, the good news is it will be good. That's all I care about. As long as the CD's good, who cares if anybody buys it, right? I just do these things for me. That's funny. I'm in Detroit next week, and online, there are friends of the show, our Michael Woods in Toronto, and our friend Valkyrie in Toronto, and Hannah. So they're writing on the page, and Hannah wrote, I guess they were figuring out their hotel if they're coming to Detroit, and Hannah said something to Valkyrie like, "Hey man, you can share a room with me if you can make it down," because one's coming from Toronto and one's coming from Cincinnati. I don't even know, and so then I wrote on my page, "Hey, you can both stay in my room if you come down. And we'll go ahead and Skype Liana, our friend Liana, all night long. It'll be like a slumber party." And exactly, we all laughed and had a good time. Until like an hour later, I get a note, and it was like, "Hey, I'm not sure if you were serious at all about that, but I mean, if you were, that's great, and I want to make the plans." And I'm just like, "Oh no, oh Christ, I was joking." Because here's the thing, in Detroit, I have a friend there from the Axis of Evil, my friend Jimmy O, and he offered me to stay in his house. He's like, "When you come here, you can stay in my place," and I said, "Well, all right, what's your setup like in your house?" Because again, I'm an idiot, folks. But again, I'm also a 45-year-old man, so I have to know what I'm getting into. It's not, in the old days, I would just crash on people's couches or what the fuck and sleep on their floor and nobody cared. But he's got a family and dogs and kids, and I've met his kids like once in my life, so they're gonna have this weird fucking Uncle Mike walking around the hallway in his boxer briefs. Nobody wants that happening. So I was like, "Dude, what's the setup?" And he's like, "Well, you'll have your own room, and I go, "Well, what's the story on the bathroom?" He goes, "Oh, you'll share a bathroom with the kids." And I think he's got 4 kids, and one of the girls is, I think, just turned 18. Does she want to share a bathroom with me ever? No. I mean, she doesn't want to share a house with me. She doesn't want to look at me, for fuck's sake. And I shouldn't dump it all in their laps, because I'm just projecting. I have no interest in sharing a bathroom with anyone ever. Even in a public restroom, I want to wait till it's empty and go in and lock the door and make sure nobody comes in after me. I don't want to be in there with anyone. So I to share a bathroom and share a shower and then have to go from the shower to the room in a towel, and I didn't want it to happen. So I told Jimmy, I go, "Look, I can't stay with you when I'm in Detroit. I appreciate it, but I'll get a hotel and that'll be fine." And then I write these girls that they can stay in my room, and one of them kind of took me up on it, and Valkyrie, it was Valkyrie, but she wasn't. She was teasing. She was having fun, and I was like, "Oh my God," I felt like such an idiot when I asked them about it, and so then I wrote a note, and I wish I could read the letter, because it's like, you ever see in Fish Called Wanda when Kevin Kline hangs John Cleese out the window? That's essentially what I wrote to them. Like, I apologize unreservedly for making this an option, but I need you to know that I turned down a friend of mine and I couldn't stay at his house, and to be in a room and sharing a room with 2 girls would be really weird, close quarters. And that's not, because again, I thought it was a joke and haha, we're all having fun. And no, it was interpreted as, because you know why? Because I'm everybody's internet chum. And so everybody's like, "Oh, we could stay with our internet chum Mike and just stay in his room." And like, normally, yeah, that might be fun, sort of. If I wasn't 45 and I wasn't me, like if I was a completely different person who enjoyed that sort of thing, then that would be fine. And we could get together, we could stay up all night and tell ghost stories and have a great time. But because I have a tone. Because you know why? Because I talk quickly and I don't fucking think. That's why. I think that's what it means when you have a tone. Is you don't fucking bother to care what comes flying out of your goddamn mouth. I try to grow the show and I want people to get on board and they're like, I listen to it and you talk too fast. Really, I talk too fast. How the hell else am I supposed to cram all of this into a small 3-hour window? Dude, there's no script. I just go over this shit on the fly. It makes me laugh. If it doesn't make you laugh, turn the fucking station. And by turn the station, I mean turn the wheel of your car right into a guardrail. Jesus fuck. Hey, where are you going, boy?